Hello, happy Tuesday, and welcome back to another episode of What Now. Today, I wanted to do more of a chiller, raw episode, if you will. This season is going by really fast. I can't believe this is the ninth episode. What? I definitely really like the shorter episodes, but let me know what you guys like and don't like. Anyways, today I just wanted to be honest and share 10 lessons that I've been learning in my 20s, as well as a few lessons that you guys shared with me on Instagram. Before I dive in, please make sure you subscribe to the podcast on whatever you listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, and follow on Instagram and TikTok at What Now Podcast. All right, now let's just go right into it. I wanted to give a little premise. I came up with this episode idea because if you guys follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you know that I've been posting lately these carousels of lessons that I'm learning in my 20s, and I really like doing it, and I've been getting a lot of good feedback from you guys on it. So I was like, what if I, made an episode about it and compiled some of the ones that I already shared and share some more that are on my mind. But I don't know, I really like it, and it also is a really good way for me to reflect on what's happening right now, and I don't know, to make hopefully you guys feel less alone, because I know some of you guys have been saying that you're also learning similar things at this stage in your life. So anyways, the first lesson that I've been learning is patience is the hardest but one of the most important lessons right now in my life. I think, it's definitely such a different period in your life, at least for me, where before it was so go, go, go between, high school, college, all of that. And now all of a sudden it's slower and, you're not going to get every opportunity right at your front door off the bat. And it's not easy. The job market isn't great right now. It's a slow period. It's also getting cold outside. And I think that for sure, this period has definitely helped me become more patient and know that, there is productivity in the wait and in the downtime. And just because nothing is happening, that doesn't mean that nothing will happen. So I think that is just something to be mindful of, and to know that, if you feel like nothing is going on, it will come. And if anything, every time I talk to somebody about the fact that I'm still looking for a job, and I'm certainly not nearly as busy as I was in college, they're enjoy this period, your time will come, everything will work out. And I'm really, really, really trying to keep leaning into that. So that was my first one. The second lesson I have is the job hunt really is just all about networking. And what I mean by this is, in my experience so far, when I've gotten through to a second round, or when I've heard back after applying, it's always only been when I've been able to connect with somebody, or get a meeting with somebody, even if it's not directly the person that's in charge of the job that I'm applying for, but even if it's just somebody in the company, that has always helped me get further into the process. So if you're on the job hunt, I know networking is not everybody's favorite thing to do, but genuinely, it's actually the only thing as of right now that's helping me get more and more through the door. And it's also great in the sense that you never know where, talking to somebody is going to lead. And it might not lead to the job that they have posted, but it could lead you to meeting somebody else. So that's what I have to say about that. Okay, the third one that I have is talk to yourself the way you talk to your friends. And what I mean is, I feel like we are very hard on ourselves. I know I'm hard on myself, and I've noticed, when I talk to my friends, I'm being very supportive and encouraging to them, and I'm like, why am I not why am I mean to myself, and I don't talk to them like I talk. Why? Oh my God, words. Oh my gosh, wording. Okay, why do I not talk to myself like I do to my friends? Because it does impact your day and it does impact your mood. And I think that is something to be super, super, super mindful of. So I just frame things as if my friend called me and said whatever I was going through, XYZ, how would I react? And that honestly really helps me reframe situations. It grounds me. It makes me reflect better instead of just being really harsh on myself, because this is already such a weird period in our lives. And we don't need to add more stress by, talking negatively to ourselves. The fourth lesson I have is comparison is the quickest way to forget your own wins. When I tell you that none of my friends, except maybe a couple, are in the same industry that I am, and like, they all have jobs or things like that, and I'm still looking. At first it was definitely hard to not compare myself because I'm like, oh my God, I feel so behind. Everyone is working. I'm still looking. I'm not nearly as close to them as, finding something good. And just stop yourself right there, because I will tell you, every single adult that I tell this to, they're like, okay, well, do you want to do what your friends do? Like, is that like what you're interested in? And I'm like, oh, no, that's like not what I studied at all, or, what I want to do. So they're like, okay, then stop comparing yourself. And it's, the job thing is one. But I would say as well, like, don't compare yourself in the sense that, like, you might be living at home versus your friends are living on their own, or maybe your friends are in a relationship and you're not. Like, there's no reason to, in the sense that we're all on our own path. I would say that is definitely a big one. And it's something I would say that I have struggled with more in my 20s, especially post grad, because I feel like, when you're in college, there's like a certain path that people follow, whether that's like through their major or what their passions are. And yes, not everybody is on the same path, but like, everyone has kind of that similar direction, and we're all trying to get our diploma, But when you are done with college and you're entering the real world, there are like an array of opportunities. Like, you could go to grad school, you could work, you could take a gap year, you could travel, you could start your own business. Like, it is actually endless, and that's why comparing yourself just slows you down. All right, my fifth lesson that I'm learning: job hunting is a job in and of itself. You have to take breaks or you will burn out. Seriously, seriously, seriously. I remember I had been job hunting and working on the podcast and, just getting adjusted to post-grad life, and I genuinely like couldn't function, like brain fog. And it was my dad who was like, Gab, like, you have to take a break, like, for the rest of the week. And as crazy as it is, it actually like made me so much more energized, and I was in such a better mood, and I was just ready to, bring it back the next week when I was going back on the job hunt. The job hunt is really, really hard. And like, I spend a lot of time on my computer just like, finding jobs and things like that. And it's exhausting. And also, like, the amount of jobs you apply to or the people that you're talking to, like, it's really tiring. And, you gave yourself breaks in college, I'm sure, when you had a lot of work. So you got to do the same thing post grad when you're looking for a job where, you're working on whatever passion project that you have, or else you will burn out. And, like a lot of people say, you don't charge your phone when it says it's at 1%, don't wait until it's going to die. You have to charge it well before. So like, don't wait until you're at your most burnt out, tired, energy. My sixth lesson that I'm learning, that I've been learning for a while, to be honest: rest is productive. I have to be honest, I too feel guilty when I do nothing, because I always feel like I have to be doing something. And as you all know, I like to do a lot of things. I am very much, I can't sit still. That said, kind of goes back to saying, don't wait until you burn out. You need to rest to restore your energy and to work better. So if you ever find yourself feeling guilty for taking a break, or deciding that you're having an off day, or maybe you're ending your day early, you're having a self-care night, whatever, that is okay. Also, like, take a nap if you need it. Seriously, sometimes I actually just have to take a 20-minute nap, and then I wake up and I feel so much better than I did before. So never feel guilty about it, because it's actually worse to keep working if you're dead, and better to restore your energy and rest. Rest is good for you. All right, number 7, no bad day has to be permanent. You can always turn it around. A little corny, but I feel like it's something that's been really hitting hard for me lately, because I've noticed just post-grad life, everything just is different. And sometimes I don't really know what to expect. But if there's one thing, it's that, maybe I wake up feeling really shitty or anxious or something in the morning, and I really, really try hard to tell myself that that doesn't have to set the tone for the rest of the day. So if you're ever feeling like something is up, something feels off, or something, maybe something bad happened to you. That doesn't mean that your entire day has to be bad just because of that one event or that one feeling. Nothing is permanent and you can change it around. Literally yesterday I was feeling pretty off, and then I hung out with my friend. We were like playing music and singing, and it was just so much fun. And I was like, wow, literally like 5 hours ago I was feeling so anxious and not like myself, and now I'm over here like having so much fun. So you really like never know. And I think it's important to just like also activate this mindset of not letting yourself fall into the trap of, ugh, this bad thing happened. Ugh, I didn't get the job. That interview went really bad. Well, this is just going to be a crappy day. No, no, no. It doesn't have to be. You can turn it around, and it definitely does start with your attitude, but also taking initiative. Maybe that means, okay, I feel shitty. Let me go work out. Okay, that interview didn't go well. It's okay. I'm going to reach out to this person who told me about X job, or, things like that. All right, number 8. Everyone around you is fighting their own battles. Support each other and lift each other up. Now, I wanted to share this one specifically like right now as a lesson in my 20s, because this kind of goes back to everyone being on a different path. But I've noticed that while I'm struggling, with the job hunt or other stuff, XYZ, like my friends are going through their own things too. And there's something kind of beautiful, I think, in the fact that we are all in this period of life where it is difficult and we're going through these changes and adapting, and it's really weird. Like, if you just graduated, it's strange. You don't have your friends near you anymore. Some of you are already working your 9 to 5s. Some people move back home. Like, everything shifts. It's different. And I think what I find beautiful is in being able to be there for one another and recognize that we are all struggling in this moment right now, but we are all still here for one another. And I definitely like to do that with my friends, when we catch up, and we do acknowledge the fact that, like, yeah, this is not easy, but like, at least, we're not alone. We have each other. We're all going through our own thing. And I don't know, that kind of makes me feel less alone. And I think it also just brings you closer also to your other friends who are in their 20s, who are figuring it out, because it makes you realize, like, yeah, like, you don't have to have it all together. Like, literally nobody has it together. It may look like that or it may sound like that, but no, they don't. So just be mindful of that as well, and know that you're never alone, and that your other 20-something friends are going through their own things, and be there for each other and support each other, and yeah, talk to each other about what you're going through, because you may be surprised to find that, like, while your paths are different, there may be things that you relate to. So you never know. All right, number 9, less worrying, more gratitude. I have to say, gratitude has been a really, really, really big way for me to help me navigate uncertainty in this time of my life. I have to remind myself, like, even if I don't have a job, I'm super grateful I get to live under a roof. I never have to worry about food on my table, things like that. And I do think it's things that sometimes we take for granted, and it's really important to take a step back and recognize that you already have so much. It's like seeing the cup half full versus half empty. I think that really does make a difference in how you move, and it definitely calms my brain down. I hope it will calm your brains down. The last lesson that I'm learning in my 20s is the way you talk to yourself, the mindset you choose, and the attitude you bring into the day all shape how things land for you. So you have to choose them carefully. Now, what I mean by this is that sometimes for me, it's as little or as small as the music I'm choosing to listen to, because I know that it will affect my outlook on the day. Other times it's pushing myself maybe when I'm tired, because I'm like, no, I can do this. You have so much impact on your brain with how you talk to yourself. And if you talk to yourself negatively, if you have a negative mindset, it will show. It will. In this period of uncertainty, it's really easy for me sometimes to be like, ugh, another day, I don't know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. But then other days, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this mindset. So what if I'm unemployed and there's nothing going on? I'm going to use this free time to work on a new passion project, to practice my skills in XYZ, to spend more time with my family, to go see my friends. It's like a little shift like that can make the biggest difference into how you view yourself, your life, what's going around you. maybe, what's helpful sometimes for me is like making a list of things that I know will make myself feel better, or writing down affirmations to help me talk to myself more positively. If you want to be extra, let me tell you something. I studied entrepreneurship at my university, and one of the first things that I learned, which is, it sounds funny, but it's actually a thing, is the what's it called? The mindset pose, the motivation pose, power posing. Power posing. Essentially, the premise of power posing is you stand in a position where you take up space or you feel confident, and the chemicals in your brain react in a way that makes you actually feel more confident in your body and in yourself and in what you have to say. And genuinely, before any presentation, we would have to do these power poses to help make sure that we were in the right mindset. So I guess that's like a physical thing, but like things like that, like you can really affect the way that you are going to go about your day, that you think, that you talk to yourself, all of that. So be careful about it. Choose. I power pose before an interview. Have I done that? Yes, I have. No shame. Okay, so those were the 10 lessons that I wanted to share that I'm learning right now in my 20s, in my post grad era. And now I wanted to share a couple lessons that you guys submitted on Instagram. The first one is, to be cringe is to be free. I love that one because I feel like, especially when I started the podcast, I was like, oh my God, this is so cringy. Like when I look back at some of my videos, but who cares? If it makes you happy, if you're happy with the work that you put in and you're passionate about it, like who cares what other people think? And you're not going to please everybody. So stop trying to, And I think there's something beautiful in the sense that you are so carefree and so confident in yourself that you do not care what anyone else has to say about you. And that is such a powerful trait to have. So yes, I 100% think that is a wonderful lesson. The second one, somebody said, these are wise words from Stephen Colbert. Don't worry, it won't help. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, low-key kind of feels like when somebody says, oh, you're stressed? Well, just relax. Like, okay, thank you. I already thought of that. But I feel like this one definitely is more effective because I'm personally an overthinker, and sometimes it's just like, seriously, like actually just stop. Because what is the point? Like, what is the point? Here are the facts. Here's what's true. Here's what's not. Why are you spiraling about XYZ? And it's true, worrying does not help. It just makes you overthink. It makes you question. It makes you more anxious. And all it's doing is giving you all these what if statements. And we all know that those aren't true. So I like this. I like these wise words from Stephen Colbert. Another one, the impact you have on someone may take time to sink in. Doesn't mean it's not there. I think that's so beautiful. I love that one, especially too because in this stage of life, I feel like you don't know who you're going to meet. And, if I apply this to like the job hunt and networking, like, yeah, maybe I'll hop on a call with somebody and I might never see them again. But still, like, enter that call, be yourself, be a kind person, be who you are, because you never know, like, who knows in like a couple of years, what if you run into that person, or what if they remembered you and they want to reach out with an opportunity? Like, you never know. And I think that's really beautiful to think about. You never know what somebody is going through. The smallest compliment might actually have turned someone's bad day into a good one. So I think that's a really beautiful and human thing and a wonderful lesson. Okay, last one I have is, love doesn't need to be reciprocal. It is okay to show love and affection even if it isn't reciprocated. Wow. You guys, these are like really beautiful. I think that one just again reminds me kind of like the other one to just be kind to everybody. I think for me, I think about like, you never know what somebody is going through, and sometimes, just being kind and loving to another person can make the biggest difference, because sometimes like when somebody is going through it, like it's really hard to control your emotions or your attitude or how you're feeling, and you may not be able to be there as much for the people around you, but those people, if they keep showing up for you and they keep supporting you, that can make the biggest difference in your life. And I think that's a really beautiful thing, to show up for those around you even when they're struggling themselves, because it gives them more power, more hope. And I think it just shows that, no one is ever alone, and that there are always people that are out there for you and that care about you and that want to see you succeed. And it's also just a beautiful thing. So, anyways, those were my lessons and the lessons you guys shared about what you're learning in your 20s. This episode is definitely, I don't know, I wanted it to be more chatty and honest because your 20s are interesting and not perfect. So, I don't know, I just wanted to kind of just be a little bit more raw in this episode. But anyways, before I go into my random life update, comment down below which lesson resonated with you and or what lessons you're learning right now. I'd be really curious to hear what you guys have to say. My random life update is I will be starting season 2 of Nobody Wants This today. Guys, that's like one of my favorite new shows on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it. Low-key, I feel like a lot of my random life updates are about what I watch, but oh well, I like TV and movies. I was a film major, so anywho, I will be doing that. No spoilers. Comment down below if you think that Kristen Bell and Adam Brody are amazing in the show, because I think they are. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening to What Now. If this episode hit home, I'd love for you to subscribe and share it with a friend who's figuring things out too. Until next time, take care of yourself and remember, we're all just figuring it out as we go.